All right. Good morning. Thank you all for making the time to be with the League of Women Voters of Manatee County today for this important presentation. The Social Issues Action Team has been researching, educating, and advocating for solutions to affordable housing and homelessness for a little over 2 years now. And we were very happy to learn of a new initiative which launched this year called Hope Pathways of Manatee County. It aims to create connection and collaborations between organizations and community partners working towards solutions for homelessness. Today, we welcome Christina Gherkin, CEO of Align Consulting, who is coordinating and leading this effort, along with Vicki Moorish, a member of the Hope Pathways Advisory Team. I thank you both for being here, and I'll hand it over to Christina. I'll be monitoring the chat, so please put any questions or comments in the chat, and we'll kind of take breaks as we go along to check in on those. Thank you, Christina, for being here. I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. And thank you, League of Women Voters of Manatee County, and just all that you do, the strong presence that you have in our community, and just educating all of us and keeping us aware and advocating for specific needs. So it's a privilege to be able to be here and talk to you. And so I'm going to share the screen with you, and thank you, Helen, again, and Barb also for reaching out and setting this up. I appreciate that. And thank you for those of you that are involved in just the social issues action team as well. And just learning, I was learning more about the last 2 years and just the research that you've done and just pursuing what homelessness looks like in our community too. So thank you for that. It takes a community to help eradicate and provide solutions. So thank you for that. So I am going to share the screen. Please reach out with any questions. I am all about questions and asking them. And so Helen will be monitoring them. So with that, Hope Pathways of Manatee County is an initiative, and it is a newer initiative. And so the heart of Hope Pathways of Manatee County is really about collaboration, coordination, and care. So collaborating with other organizations and individuals and entities in our community to help coordinate communication between all of those services and needs that are there, and for the organizations to provide care. And so with that, it started under Align Consulting. So I'm the CEO and founder of Align Consulting. And really one of my biggest passions is just looking at the infrastructure of systems, of social systems in local communities, and seeing what the gaps are and identifying those, and then providing solutions. And the best way to do that is to create teams. And so Hope Pathways in Manatee County really started as an Align roundtable, and it was key leaders, really some locally, some from other states, to be able to build and look at and research homelessness in our county, in Manatee County, and just look at, okay, what we have a lot, right? We have many organizations that are doing amazing things, right? But one of the things that we're missing is collaboration, and then the coordination of that, because there's so much. So out of that came Hope Pathways in Manatee County initiative. We did focus groups with that, and we did our soft launch actually in March with charter partners that joined. And so with that, we did our official launch in August, and we'll be opening up the initiative to other organizations in our community as well. But with this, it's just exciting. It's really exciting to see just the results that we've been able to produce already for Hope Pathways in Manatee County. And so with that, I just am going to just highlight, we know that the Hurricane Ian came through and affected our county in the Myakka area, and then in Sarasota and DeSoto County as well. So these are just organizations. If you know of organizations that are doing programs to help hurricane disaster relief, this is something that our partner Unite Us sent out to us for different grants that are available. So I just wanted to take the time to highlight that, because as we're meeting today, there are people that are in need, right? And it's going to take time to rebuild our community and parts of our community. And so just wanted to recognize with HPMC and our organizations how we can continue to help those that are starting the rebuilding process for that. But the mission of Hope Pathways in Manatee County is a collective effort of community organizations and individuals in Manatee County using calculated compassion as a process of lifting men, women, and families out of the poverty cycle. And really, calculated compassion was based on our founding fathers. So Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson actually defined calculated compassion. And so with that, the scope of it, the overview is having accountability with unilateral tracking, earning achievement, while the organizations or the individuals are providing collaboration of provision to those individuals that are in need. So basically with our initiative, we are focusing on calculated compassion. So all the organizations that come together agree that there has to be some accountability to those they help. It's not just handing out to someone, right? And so, and then there's tracking with that. We want to be able to track that. How are we being effective in our organization? How are we being effective in the programs that we have with that? And so here's some data. We do get together once a month, and we have updated data. So Felt is Feeding Empty Little Tummies. They are one of our partners. And as of the beginning of this school year, they are serving 2,000 homeless children every week. So they send backpacks with food to those children who are homeless. And that is a low number, meaning there are more, but there are many students that don't necessarily talk about it or ask for help, or teachers aren't necessarily aware that families are, housed in one house together, or, they're living in a tent or things like that. So another thing that we'll dive into a little bit more, Manatee County Sheriff's Office is also a part of HPMC Advisory Board. And so they have registered over 1,000 homeless individuals in our county, and that's outside of the city limits. So just in their jurisdictions, they have a RAP program, which is amazing. And it's a resource assistant program. They work very well with other entities and organizations as well to be able to help the homeless and just get a concrete number. And so that is the number, not in the cities, but it's in the county outside of the cities. And with your research, I know you have much knowledge in this and your research, but as of May, the average median income for our area went from 77,000 the year before to 90,000 this year. So that's up 2 times more than the national rate. So that is what a family of 4 would need to make to live in this county. Rental increases, our region is one of the highest in the nation with no cap in place. So these are components that help that unfortunately increase the rate of transitional homelessness. And the annual median income increased 17%. So as you can see from the numbers above. And then transitional homeless. So we have the chronically homeless. Those that have been homeless for more than a year. And then we have transitional homeless. And this is the number that continues to increase. And we'll see an even higher influx of that with Hurricane Ian as well, and what that happens. So hotels are housing families here in Manatee County. A lot of hotels are. Campgrounds have families. And if you are living in a tent or a camper and paying for a campsite, you are not considered homeless, even though you do not have a home. So that's important to highlight. So when we, as an initiative, are looking at numbers, we are including, for the transitionally homeless, we will be including those as we collect data. On a daily basis, 2 to 6 families or individuals are contacting just the 12 organizations that are a part of HPMC every day. And so, as you know, with that, that affordable housing is also an issue, right? So these are problems that I'm highlighting, but I know that you must be aware of them as well. And so with this, here is Manatee County Sheriff's Office. So this was 928 homeless count, and this is since October 1st of 2020. It is now over 1,000. And just to give you a perspective of what we pay for it. So for the homeless arrests and they're jailed overnight, it costs $83.30 per day. So that's near $8 million a year that our community is spending on this. And so with that, we are moving forward. Technical difficulties, sorry. So with that, there's an average daily rate of 244 homeless people that are in our jails. And so, that is something that affects all of us and stakeholders. So it takes a while to learn who our stakeholders are. It takes a while to develop relationships with our stakeholders. But when organizations come together, like HPMC initiative, and start working together, that door opens up and we're able to connect and build relationships. But each stakeholder listed here, it's not all of them, but they're somehow directly impacted financially due to homelessness, right? So what we're trying to do as we begin to educate and build awareness with our community is that even if you don't have someone in your family who's homeless, even though you don't know someone personally who is homeless or near homelessness, there is some part of homelessness that is affecting you and directly impacts financially, whether it's our taxpayer funding or whether you work for any of these entities here or just have a local business yourself. It does affect things.
Christina, could we pause for just a moment and could I offer some of the questions from the chat?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ruth asked, what organizations are part of Hope Pathways? So the previous slide, it talked about stakeholder groups. Is that the same as the organizations that you would consider a part of Hope Pathways?
No, and so that's a great question. And so our process, I'm just going to switch to right here. So right now, all right, this is jumpy. Okay, so we are going to go this way. There we go. Okay, so these are the partners that are a part of it. So what is the process of joining HPMC? So HPMC, you have to apply, you're vetted, and then you have to sign an MOU to be held accountable to using the technology that we're utilizing to collect data and show that we are that each organization is servicing the individuals that they are servicing. And so these are all of the organizations that have initially signed up. We closed it at 12 to begin with, and we are actually opening it up now for October and November to all other organizations that provide any supportive services. So you see here, for example, Goodwill. Goodwill doesn't provide shelters for homeless, right? But they're part of this cycle right here. And so I'm going to go back here. So this is the solution that HPMC came up with. It's a working model from beginning to end. You have chronically or transitionally homeless, and so, or those that are near homelessness. So in the process from beginning to end, if you're homeless, you need to have shelter, right? And once you have shelter, how do you get help? The most efficient way to get help is through coordinated collaboration. And so we have found a platform called Unite Us, which is a great technological tool. It's very innovative and advanced. You've probably heard of it. It's open to a lot of nonprofit organizations in our community for free, which is amazing. And it connects other organizations together. You input a client that needs help, and you can refer them directly to other organizations that are on that platform. And then everything is tracked with that, which is good when you are helping that individual. And so the applicant screening takes place. We find out what they need, and then they are referred to the supportive services charter partners. And then outside of that, anything that they need, they're referred to as well. And it's all through the Unite Us platform. And then you have community partners and housing partners. And so right here is where the supportive service charter partners come in. And so that's who you saw on there. So Goodwill, for example, they would be contacted for job connection, job placement, job education, those types of things. But they don't provide shelter. Nick Manassa Ministries is working to provide shelter. Harbor 58 is working to provide shelter. And then we also have Help to Home on the affordable housing partners. They are working to provide affordable housing for individuals that are families as well. And so with that, these are organizations that are a part of it right now.
Ruth, did that answer the question so far? Okay. There was a couple of comments, one from Ruth and one from Sherry Correa, about when you had mentioned the funds that are available for organizations that are responding to Hurricane Ian.
Yes.
Folks, Bold Voters is giving away food to Ian victims with Meals on Wheels Plus. And then Sherry says the Community Foundation of Sarasota created the Suncoast Disaster Recovery Fund with a match provided by the Patterson Foundation. So I just want to double check and clarify one thing. When you were offering those websites, those seemed like they were organizations who were offering grants to local organizations that are responding to the need. Is that correct?
Yes.
So as a next step, would it be appropriate for us to let Bold Voters and then the Community Foundation of Sarasota know that those grants are available?
Yes.
That would be the next step there. Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely.
And then Sherry asked a clarification around the number of of children experiencing homelessness. She wondered, are those defined by the federal government, which is the definition is without a permanent home within the last 3 months or multiple times in the last 6 months, or is it a count provided by FELT from the school district or in another manner?
That's a great question. And so I can get you the direct answer to that because I don't want to. I know the data does come from the Manatee government and also the school district, but I'm not sure the parameters if they've been homeless for 3 months or longer, or if it's just recently as well. But it is something that is monitored through Project Heart and things like that through the school district. So great question.
Thank you. That's all we have so far in
Okay.
the chat. Oh, Hope just put in, is Felt working with the All Faiths Food Bank? Do you know?
That is a great question as well. So I will find that out for you.
Excellent. And actually, Christina, I have a question about the charter member. So I can
Yes.
understand, it sounded like you're reopening the invitation process for organizations to be a part of it. One of the ones that we work with a lot is Turning Points. And I wondered what your interaction so far has been with them, because they're, a main service provider here in Manatee.
Right, exactly. So they were actually a part of our focus group,
Okay.
which was amazing and part of our research. So they're amazing in that. And so we are hoping that they will apply this next round for the organization as well. So yeah, they are an integral part of the community and what they provide for those that are homeless. So
thank you.
Yeah, those are great questions. So here's what makes this initiative different. So it's not just a partnership, it's utilizing what we have through the technology and collaboration. And so we're not duplicating services. And just to clarify too, Hope Pathways in Manatee County is not its own agency, it's an initiative. And so with that, it's just a collaboration of all the partners coming together to work together to commit to uphold calculated compassion and commit to that accountability piece with Unite Us, which is great for future funding for organizations as well as they're receiving funding. There's accountability there, and you can see what each organization has been doing. In fact, this is the great part about this. So homelessness is rising, and transitional homelessness in particular is rising in our county. And it's difficult to wrap our minds around it unless we are walking through it or walking someone through it, right? And so I don't say this lightly. Since June, when we have had all of the charter partners on Unite Us and working and documenting the clients that they've been helping, there have been a total of 96 managed cases within the organizations. 66% of them were resolved. 7% are still open, meaning we're still working with them, and 27% were unresolved. So it's great to start seeing data in the data analysis, but as we begin to see even more of that data, it's going to be sobering because of the amount of individuals who truly are transitionally homeless and who we can't provide help for at this point. So those 27% that were unresolved, 2 of them were client refused services. That's it. We do know that out of those that are homeless, 70% of them really do want help. They really do want to get out of that cycle. They really do. They just don't know where to go. They don't have that process, or they go to one organization and the organization sends them to another organization and they have to retell their story, right? They have to fill out new paperwork, those types of things. And that's one of the gaps that this solution fills as well, because it's all in one place. So they don't have to retell their story. They don't have to necessarily spend 3 hours filling out new paperwork. They can just get the help that they need. But 30% don't necessarily want to get out of that cycle, but 70% do. That's still a lot, right? And we have a lot of families with children now as well who are transitionally homeless. And those are the ones that we're not able to connect them to services. meaning there's no affordable housing available and there are no shelters available. So right now, Salvation Army does a great job. They have 10 hotbeds that are always open through Manatee County Sheriff's Office. And so we have that, but they have to leave in the morning, right? And so if you have a family with young children, they have to leave in the morning, and then they have to come back and stand in line and hope to get shelter for that night again. And so with that, we're collecting this data is helping us see analytically what the numbers are, where we are at as a community, and how to help. And so, it's great to start collecting this data, and it's amazing to see the collaboration of those charter partners, but it's also sobering at the same time. Does anyone have any questions on that at all?
This is Sherry. I don't have a question, but this is, I think you're totally right on target with all the types of ways that you're looking at pulling the data together. So thanks for letting me be on the call.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
One question that I have is to just help us understand the application process for becoming a partner organization.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, so with the application process, so how to support the initiative, there are 3 different ways that you can support the initiative. One is educate. So take the information that you've been given or the information that we provide and educate those around you on our community and the numbers that are increasing and things like that. And then collaboration. So becoming a supportive service partner, how do we do that? So if you go to the Hope Pathways of Manatee County website, there will be an application button and then they just click and apply. And then the instructions are there. So it's a simple process. We designed it to be simple. And then our Hope Pathways of Manatee County advisory team reviews the organizations that want to be a part of it. And then the organization agrees, reads, and signs the memorandum of understanding, which is committing to the accountability of using calculated compassion in their programs, and also utilizing Unite Us so we can have collaborative, coordinated efforts and collecting data as well. So,
could you give us an example of potentially a reason why, aside from agreeing to the accountability piece and the compassion or the calculated compassion, what would be a reason why the advisory board would say, this isn't the right organization to join our collaborative?
Sure. Just, if they're not able to onboard Unite Us, the platform, the technology platform, it's a simple platform, but it is a platform that you need to utilize regularly with every client. And so if they're not willing to commit to that, and then also just in good standing, so their organization is in good standing, and they don't have, their taxes are in good standing, all of that. So just overall, so we do look at all of that, and then just looking at their mission and making sure it aligns with our HPMC initiative.
Okay. And if a partner is struggling to meet, some of the requirements even after being accepted, do you provide coaching and support to that organization to kind of help them get to where you need them to be?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So Unite Us does a fabulous job of providing support to help. They meet with each organization to find out just how they operate internally so that you can onboard Unite Us well. And they have chat a chat line that you can just go on at any time when you're using it. You get an answer right away and they help fix it right away, or help give you guidance right away. And then also HPMC advisory team, we do come alongside the organizations. We meet with them. We see if they troubleshoot anything. We are assessing to see if they have any specific needs with utilizing Unite Us or any of the other requirements, because really making sure everyone has the tools to be successful at that is key. And so really that's what HPMC advisory team does, is ensure that they have those tools for success in that.
Ruth Lawler has some operational questions. If you might go into how Hope Pathways is funded, how many staff, and is this intended to be a long-term initiative?
Yeah, those are great questions. So, so the HPMC awareness campaign is what we are launching now with the application process. How it's funded, that's a great thing. At this time, it's all volunteer. So HPMC advisory team is volunteer, and so we will be beginning to look for funding through community foundations. And then eventually have a program director overseeing it. This is long-term. We would like to see, it's a model that other communities are already starting to look at. And so we've designed it that way. So we've come up with the next phase of it to make sure that it is long-term, and that is bringing on funding for a program director, but then also bringing in funding for the organizations that are a part of it to help them continue their efforts. That's the main thing, is as we collaborate and coordinate our efforts, we want to be, HPMC initiative wants to be able to support those organizations monetarily. And that comes through collaboration and retrieving data as a whole and working together as a whole to close the gaps of the homeless. So
Nina asked, is it correct to understand that the collaboration and coordination is all through Unite Us, and that care is provided only by the 12 charter partners?
That is a great thing. So within our initiative, collaboration, coordination, and care are our 3 C's, but that is not just to the partners, meaning the partners that are working to collaborate and coordinate, yes, provide that care for the client, but it's also outside of that because we are working as a community in this. So those that are a part of the initiative are a part of getting data and connecting clients quickly to resources, but also utilizing the organizations in our community that have access to supportive services that those in HPMC may not provide at this time.
There is something that we've discovered through our research, in that there's a lot of conversations happening around affordable housing and homelessness, a lot of organizations working on it, and then potentially a lot of missing pieces. So one organization will say, we want to bring people together to talk about this and come up with solutions, but not everybody's at the table. And so one challenge that we're trying to identify how to address is, how do we ensure that the right people are always a part of the conversation and at the right time, so we don't duplicate efforts. And Unite Us seems like a great platform, but I don't know if if it duplicates anything else that is already in existence. And so I just wonder, how do you handle that piece of it, knowing that the program doesn't duplicate or compete with anything that's already in existence?
Right. Yeah. And so that is part of how HPMC came to be, is looking at that. we did a lot of research in the last year, our team did, to look at, we don't want to duplicate services. And then moving forward now, how do we duplicate services? So Unite Us is a tool that's a part of the solution to Hope Pathways in Manatee County, but it is not the solution. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a part of it. So it's a tool that we utilize to coordinate. And so Unite Us, we looked at different platforms, and this one was state of the art, meaning it is simple, it's affordable, and anyone can join. And so with that, we wanted to be able to provide those organizations with a tool like that, because you're already doing so much in your organization. And so with that, the other part and piece of that is, how do we make sure and ensure we're not duplicating services? Well, in part that comes from coordination, and so and collaboration. And so that is a part of what the HPMC advisory team does, is we look at that, because we don't want to duplicate services. We don't want to recreate something that's already been recreated. And so that's how the initiative came about. And the cycle of the solution, the workflow of the solution is something that is bringing everyone to the table. It's a piece of the puzzle to make it as a whole. So it's a piece of each circle. So affordable housing is a piece of homelessness. Emergency shelters are a piece of homelessness. Food pantries are a piece of homelessness, right? Any other supportive services. Community partners are a piece of that. None of this gets done without community support, community advocacy, community education, and community awareness.
This is a question from Sherry, and it kind of piggybacks off of what we were just talking about. She says, do local homeless coalitions work collaboratively with your organization, or have you experienced pushback? And if so, how do you handle that?
Yep, that's great. So we are actually in the process of just looking at local coalitions, and we want to partner with them and be community partners together, because it's about collaboration. How do we handle that? So, we really haven't approached coalitions yet. We wanted to make sure the foundation of HPMC initiative was set and set well, and just our model was working well. And so now we're looking at the various coalitions, because each coalition focuses on a piece of that circle as well, right? And so when you bring them to the table, when you bring other coalitions and other partners and other organizations to the table, then that cycle of homelessness is stopped, because you're all working together. So HPMC is a part of wanting to bring those entities together. How do we handle that? If there's pushback, just keep doing what we're doing. Just keep working together, collaborating with who we can collaborate with, and hopefully it will just continue to grow from there.
No more questions at this time, Christina.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about Hope Pathways in Manatee County. It's an honor to be able to be a part of this session, and just educating you and letting you know the initiative that is a part of Manatee County and what we are doing. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out at any time. My email is available. The HPMC website is here, and I will make sure and send this information to Helen as well, so that everyone has that information. So.
Sherry asked one last question, and this was actually something that I was thinking about as well. She asks, has the Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness been speaking with you as they serve Manatee and Sarasota as well?
They have not yet.
Okay, I would love to, we've made some connections and I know Sherry knows them as well. If I could introduce you to Chris Johnson with the partnership, I would love to do that. And we're also putting together kind of a who's who list as far as who we've spoken with, because it seems like we learn about a new organization each day, and we want to kind of give the people we know either a head start or just a check-in to say, here's all the people we know who are working on this right now. Do you know all these folks, and are we missing anyone? And so we're a team of the Social Issues Action Team is working on that right now. And when that's ready, I would love to go over that with you and just see if we can maybe put some more of these puzzle pieces together.
That would be amazing. That's all about collaboration, right? And closing that gap and filling that circle up even more. Thank you. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. Any other final comments or questions before we close today? Well, I just want to say a big thank you, Christina, for you being here today and providing us with this information, but also all of the work that you're doing to help us address homelessness in Manatee. And we look forward to staying in touch with you. And if at any time you have events or information that you would like us to share with our membership or help get the word out about, please do let us know. We want to be considered one of your partners moving forward and continue to stay connected and do what we can to support your efforts.
That's wonderful. We would be honored. So,
excellent.
All right.
Some thank yous in the chat for a great session. And if you guys all need anything else, please let me know. I will send out the recording and the slides after our session. And I look forward to seeing you all. If you can join on some future meetings, the next time that we'll be able to be together is on November 10th at 5:30 p.m. There's a Taste of the League happening, and social issues will be featured at that meeting. So please, if you can come to that, great. And if you know of anyone who's interested in either the League, affordable housing, or homelessness, diversity, equity, inclusion, we'll be talking about all of those things during the Taste. That's again on November 10th at 5:30. I'll include a link to sign up for that in a future email. On November 18th, we'll be having a special presentation by the United Way Suncoast. They'll be talking about the Alice report that they published in 2020, what's happened since then, and especially a major focus around affordable housing and homelessness. They have a wonderful eviction mitigation and housing crisis dashboard that they'll be reviewing. Their work covers 5 counties in our area, so we might have see some of our fellow League members join us on that call. And then the last thing I just wanted to invite you all to is the STREAM organization, which is Stronger Together Reaching Equality Across Manatee, is starting their annual process, and it's launching with some house meetings. And Barb Aaron is not on today's call, but if you're interested in what STREAM is and getting involved, they are continuing their efforts around affordable housing and homelessness. And so that's another way to be involved. And their motto is the power of people. And so the more people who are involved, the better in that initiative. So I will make sure in my follow-up email to include all of those dates and links so you don't have to worry about writing them down or finding them. And feel free to reach out to me at any time. I thank you all. Have a great day.